Welcome to Sapphire One. This is an introduction into the accounts mode, receivables, payables and general ledger post mode. In the accounts mode, we're presented with 8 modes in the Sapphire One toolbar. In this case, we're selecting the accounts mode. And then in the accounts mode, we have 3 distinctive modes, so receivables, payables, general ledger, or 3 drop-downs. If we go into the post transactions, we have the ability to post a transaction within the receivables mode. And what we'll do is we'll go and do some data entry here. We'll do a client receipt, and we're going to do a client receipt for the Architects Resource Group. We go and select the Architects Resource Group, and here we type in the amount. I'm going to say that this particular client's paid us by EFT, and we'll green tick that. It'll ask me to allocate that, and I'll allocate that. Now, I could choose not to allocate that if I wish to, but we'll cover that under a separate movie for allocation inquiry. If I now go to the post-transaction screen, I can go to the post-transaction screen and I can post that from the post-transaction screen. Now, I can individually tick on that. Alternatively, I can hit mark all. So a number of ways that we can select that particular record. If we go and process that now, we can go and process that. We have the ability to print an audit trail with that as well. So that's the post-transactions under receivables. We've also got the same functionality under payables. And in this case, if we go to post-transactions, nothing there to post for the minute. So what we'll go and do is a vendor payment. We'll go and do a vendor payment to our friends at AJ White & Son. And we'll do a vendor payment for $1,100. And we'll go and say that payment's finalised. We'll green tick that. And then we'll go and allocate that. So we'll allocate that to that particular vendor invoice. We'll green tick that. And that's now saved that into a transaction inquiry. If I go to the post transactions now, we're now presented with the same functionality that we just saw under receivables, but now this is payables. This time though, I'm not going to do it through the post screen. What I'm going to do is go to a transaction inquiry, select the record I want, go to my payables toolbar, up to my tools, and I go post transaction. And I just highlighted that particular record and I went and posted that. If I wished to, I could have shown a subset. But if we go in and look at that particular record now, we can see when it was created, date and time, we can see when it was modified and when it was posted. So that's another way of posting it. So that's 2 distinct ways, as we saw in receivables. Post transactions, we can go into the post screen. Alternatively, as we've just seen in the payables mode, I go to a transaction inquiry, select the record, and I can use my toolbar up here and I can post the transaction. Now, thirdly, the post transactions in the general ledger. So there we've got a same functionality, post journals. In this case, we'll go and create a journal. And what we'll do here is that we'll actually copy an existing journal. So if I click on here, I've got the ability, and we'll just select a particular journal. So I'm going to select a journal and I'm going to copy that journal. So it's a particular journal that I want to copy, and I green tick that. So I've just entered that particular journal. And what I did was, and that'll be covered under General Ledger Journal Inquiry, but there's a function there to copy historical data entry from any transaction inquiry screen. In that case, it was General Ledger Journal. If I go to my post transactions, there's my journal waiting to be posted in the post transactions. And of course, I can go and process that, and it'll go and process that straight into Sapphire One. Alternatively, if I was to create another journal, and we do exactly the same thing again, this time different journal, copy transactions, green tick that, and we go back in, and this time we look at it through the transaction inquiry screen, and this time I will use the show subset. So we go and highlight that particular record, we come up here to the toolbar, and we go post transaction. So by selecting the post transactions, that will then post that record, and we go back in and we've got our controls again, created, modified and posted. So that's an introduction into the accounts mode, receivables, payables and general ledger transactions. So three distinct areas within the accounts mode: our receivables, and we have our post-transaction and receivables. Also our payables, where we have our post-transactions. And thirdly, our general ledger, where we also have post-transactions. And remembering that we can also post that from any transaction inquiry screen using the toolbar and using the drop-down post-transactions. Thank you for taking the time to watch the introduction into accounts mode, post-transactions, transaction posting for receivables, payable, general ledger. Thank you for taking the time.